Hi, welcome to Bake to the Future, the show where we examine what is happening in the baking industry with a future-focused lens. I'm Haley Blumenreich.
And I'm Katie Jewell.
We are bringing you a special episode with IBIE Premium Allied member Ardent Mills.
Ardent Mills is a flour milling and ingredient company specializing in flour, quinoa, pulses, and organic and gluten-free products. Today, we have a very special guest with us here in the virtual studio, Dan Dye, CEO of Ardent Mills. Nice to see you, Dan.
Hey, it's great to be here. And Katie and Haley, thanks for having me. It's an honor.
We want to hear more about your background and how you got into the industry. But first, we have to ask you, what is your favorite baked good?
Well, that's an easy one for me. I like all of them, to be clear, but donuts are my favorite. I actually do something called Donuts with Dan with our people where we gather together and have donuts and coffee. And I love donuts any chance I can get. So that would be my favorite.
That's fun. Donuts with Dan. How often does that happen?
Well, it changed a little bit with COVID, but we even do them virtually now. So we do that. But I, probably once or twice a month, and just a chance to connect with people and eat some of our great products that are made with flour and taste great.
And anytime you want ABA to join in on the donuts, you know that we're always down for that. So
excellent.
Don't forget your trade association when these things happen. So what I want to do is back up a little bit. I always like at the beginning of a podcast, especially with a guest who's never been on before, to go back in time to understand professional journeys, backgrounds, your origin story. How did you get in to this crazy baking business? Tell us more about yourself.
Yeah, well, I've been privileged and blessed to spend my entire career in ag and food, and I started more on the ag and the grain trading side of the business. I was a commodity trader with Cargill to start my career many, many years ago, and spent quite a few years, about 28 years or so, in that side of the business, managing grain elevator businesses, farm origination, trading corn, soybeans, wheat, and other products. So I saw the flour milling side and therefore the baking side kind of more from the supply angle of it.
I want to stop you there. So you were there for 28 years. What made you interested in commodity trading and all of that?
Sure. No, I started with Cargill right out of school, and I had kind of business economics major, and the ag industry and Cargill as a company was a great opportunity to kind of learn the business. And so the training program, the management program at that time was to get into trading and to learn the business in different trading jobs. So I started out literally, but like I said, buying corn, soybeans, wheat from farmers, grain elevators, and then in different trading jobs in different markets, moved around a lot, moved about 8 times in 13 years. So I got to see a lot of different things, and then spent time managing and leading the Cargill Ag Horizons business, which was, again, really the farm-facing business of bringing solutions to farmers, and kind of at a time where Cargill was shifting more towards solutions versus just commodity trading. And then that led to the opportunity to lead the Horizon milling business, which was the flour milling business of Cargill at that time. And so I tell people this all the time, and I genuinely mean it. Literally the first day that I started in the flour milling business, I just thought, wow, this is great. I love the origination side, love working with farmers, but to be closer to the food side and to see the products and to work with the great customers we had on the baking side and all of that just kind of brought it to life in a different way. And as I said earlier, I love baked goods, love the products, and to be able to see taking that wheat from a farm and knowing that side of the business, and then going through the process of taking it into a mill, producing flour, taking that right out to our customers, and seeing those great products that then end up in literally in restaurant tables and pantries and kitchen tables in a short period of time. Just a great transition. So I was able to lead that business for a few years, and then about 8 years ago, we formed Ardent Mills, which is a joint venture owned by Cargill, ConAgra Brands, and CHS. And that was, like I said, 8 years ago. We had that chance to create this new company to really try to change the way people think about grain-based foods and to bring different, flour and other ingredients to the marketplace with a real focus on innovation and change and a new way of thinking. But that period in the shifting to flour milling and then tying into the baking industry is something I've just thoroughly enjoyed. It's been a highlight of my career.
So it sounds like it's like a bit of a startup. I hear words like joint venture, and it's only been around 8 years, and we all know that the companies who you just listed who are part of it have been around much longer than that, and so has the action of milling. So it sounds like it's a kind of a startup vibe.
It actually is. It's been fun to be a part of that. We're a larger company. We've got 45 facilities, 35 flour mills, and 10 specialty facilities. We've across the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico, and we've got all these different things going on. But at the same time, you're exactly right. We're like a startup. 8 years is a short time, and we've been able to really establish and develop our own culture, the kind of organization that we really wanted to be relevant to our customers and to serve the marketplace, serve the baking industry, and again, try to do everything we can to bring innovation and change. And I think sometimes you can do that a little more effectively as a newer company with a new approach to the market and continuing to evolve and change. And so, yeah, we're 8 years seems like a short time, and it really is for the lifespan of a company.
Well, especially when you consider about a quarter of that time has been in a worldwide crisis called COVID. And then more recently, I'm certain, it's been top of mind for the last several months is the war in Ukraine and a lot of focus on wheat and flour. So how have you guys been dealing with that during the last 2 years, and then maybe more specifically, what's going on with Ukraine and how's everything? What's your business like now?
Well, like you said, it changed everything, really. If you think about what happened a little over 2 years ago now with COVID, the baking industry and therefore the milling industry was impacted immediately. We saw people really turning to baked goods for, comfort, for calm, for an ability to get something in their life that they could enjoy and that they could really take part in and feel good about. And so I think it was a time where we as a company really said, our mission is to enhance the quality of life and standard of health. And we said, we're in a quality of life and standard of health crisis here. COVID is very real. It's going to have a big impact. And it's one of those things where we really have to really be thoughtful in terms of how we look forward in terms of the, ways we can help people during this time. And again, we partnered with our baking customers. We were able to immediately meet those needs and those big surges in demand, and then have worked through that. And again, it's changed everything about how we work and how we operate. And I would just shout out to the bakeries, the mills, and other production facilities. I mean, they're true heroes that came to work every day. We talk a lot about remote work. Well over 80% of our people never had a day of remote work. They work at a plant or in a lab and have been there throughout this whole time. And similarly with all of our baking customers and the plants there. So I really saw how the industry came together to meet those needs. And I think we've seen some shifts and there was a resurgence back. And now more recently with what's going on with the war in Ukraine and a lot of supply chain disruptions, inflation, all these things that are headlines certainly impact our business. They impact us. They impact our customers. And again, it's really partnering together during these times and understanding there's significant shifts that are impacting the consumer, and we have to adjust and adapt to those and be flexible and really, again, work closely, tight partnerships with our customers and really going all the way to the consumer and trying to help through this time. So lots of change, lots of things that are different today than they were before. And we have to take advantage of that. And I think it's actually created some opportunities for our industry, the milling and baking industry together to really stand out and to show how important these products are and how good they are and how needed they are, especially in times like this.
Do you have any specific instances that come to mind or stories about those partnerships that you were mentioning that would help illustrate?
I think we've had a couple times, certainly in the last several months, but even throughout COVID and back to the pandemic times, where we had customers, for example, that were really struggling to get product on the shelf. So whether it was bread or other products, and really trying to work in partnership with our customers to find different ways to navigate some of those supply chain challenges, a little bit different earlier in COVID, but But we were able to come together with them and create some, really different solutions that maybe we hadn't even looked at before. For example, leveraging our network of facilities in different ways to get flour to a customer that was really in need at that point in time, and we're running short or having some challenges. And I think I could go on about other things where we work together with customers and baking companies with helping in the communities and donating flour, donating bread, different things like that, where you really see the strength of this industry and the way we can work together and how those partnerships are needed during times like this. And I guess more recently, just helping to navigate through all of these changes going on. And there's times where there's displacement of product, there's interruptions, disruptions, and we've been able to come alongside our customers and work with them to make sure those baking products are being produced and meeting the demands that are out there. Because again, the demand for our products have been strong because they're great products. And again, in times like this, they've stood out even more.
So it sounds like there was probably a good number of 11:30 p.m. calls from customers saying, "I need help."
Well, yeah, there were a lot of late night calls and early morning calls, and you work through it together. And I think it's I haven't been around a lot of industries, been in food and ag my whole career, but I think the milling and the baking industries, the way we work together, I think is pretty special. And I think it is because we have this common goal. And I know when COVID hit, just like all of our customers, we had the same objective, right? Keep our people safe and keep product on people's kitchen tables and making sure we could produce that. And we work together to do that. So yeah, sometimes it's late night, early morning. Our mills run around the clock. Most bakeries run around the clock. You have to just work together during those times. And I think when there's challenges, it shows the value of having partnerships and really coming together.
And before, you were mentioning the innovation that kind of came out of trying to navigate all these challenges. Could you talk maybe a bit more about some innovations that you all are adapting to or coming up with that are exciting? We've
seen some shifts and we've seen some changes in how people look at what they're eating and the ties, for example, to immunity and what, how important that tie between food and health has become during this time. So we actually just recently kind of updated what we call our drivers of innovation. And maybe I can share those real quick. One of those is just functional foods. People, they want to have foods that directly help them with their personal definitions of what's health and what's optimal health for them and eating for health. And again, that link is tighter than it's ever been. And I think the pandemic brought that out. Another one is well and good, where we think about, eating foods that taste good, but also have a health benefit, right? We want them to, that's again, what's great about our products. People love them and we can help them see the health benefit better, I think, and be more open and transparent. We've got a lot of good data and a lot of good studies. We have to tell our story, I think, even better today than we ever have about the value that we can be well and good. Modern craft is a third one that we use, and that's really around, that people are looking for foods grounded in kind of tradition and ingredients and different techniques. They give them, comfort and joy and confidence. People, that's one thing we control, right, is what we eat. And so I think that's been a shift that's, again, leading to innovation and change. And then sustainable solutions that, as people are looking for not only nourishing their bodies, but they want to contribute to, a better food system, a more sustainable approach. And then finally, convenience and optimized performance, where they're looking at streamlined, kind of reliable, safe, everyday solutions with even greater value and making sure, though, that they're not compromising around convenience and other things. So as we've kind of identified these trends emerging, and like we've continued to update those throughout the pandemic as these things have changed, it's led us to be more focused on diversifying a little bit, bringing in what we call our emerging nutrition business, which is really around our specialty grains. And we were doing some of those things, but I think we've really seen innovation and change come in as our customers are looking for more alternatives, different approaches. People want variety. They want to meet some of these trends. And so we've made some investments in, we purchased an organic facility. We took one of our flour mills and kind of repurposed that with a lot of specialty capabilities. We purchased a quinoa business called Andean Naturals, a chickpea business, Hendricks Trading Company, and then most recently a gluten-free mill called Firebird out in North Dakota. And it's kind of a unique opportunity because, I say, nobody would know gluten better than the people that deal with a lot of gluten, right? So we can help the non-gluten marketplace because they're really still looking for taste and the kind of products that are similar to those containing gluten. And so we've got the expertise on that and building it on the gluten-free space. But those are some of the innovations that we've kind of looked at to diversify, to differentiate a bit. And frankly, some of those areas are growing at a much faster pace than traditional flour.
I do love some disruptive ingredients. I know we had a panel on that in like 2019 at our technical conference, and Haley and I enjoyed some crickets. So are we talking cricket flour yet? Or like how close are we to kind of these, what sounds, I mean, even you think about quinoa, right? You think 10, 15 years ago, nobody really knew what that was. And now it's here. Same with like, chickpea flour for pastas and things. So what about these like really, like what are some of these, on the edge ingredients that we might not be thinking of?
There are so many different things you can do, and you can make flour out of a lot of different products, including insects and other things, as you mentioned. We've tried to put our focus a little bit more on where we see a little bit of critical mass and we see growth opportunity in ways we can kind of leverage our expertise. At the same time, I think you have to be open and recognize there's going to be new and different ways of looking at this going forward. And there will be some different ingredients and cutting edge and new things we probably haven't even thought of today as we look forward. And we see, again, that functionality of different products. But in the end, it still has to taste good and it still has to be really functional in what it does. So we haven't strayed too far into some of those really wild ones, but we know there's a lot of different alternatives out there.
So maybe no mealworm flour just yet. But it sounds like, so you're talking about this innovation and things that have changed and, ways that you never thought that you would do business before, even 3 years ago. What are some things that folks can listen to this podcast and really take away?
No, absolutely. We want to work very closely and do work very closely with our customers on this journey. And we have right at our headquarters in Denver, we have what we call our AMIC, Ardent Mills Innovation Center. And we actually can bring customers in, again, limited with COVID, but we're starting to do that again where we can sit down and actually try different mixes, different blends, different product alternatives that we can look at together. So it's very much a joint innovation effort. In fact, one of the things kind of unique about us, we actually have a commercial bakery as part of Ardent Mills. So we have we call it Innovative Bakery Resources out in Portland. And we can use that as an innovation center with our customers where we can even run shorter runs. It's a smaller bakery. We can do specialized, really unique kind of breads or other baked goods there and test them and try them out. And we have some really incredibly creative and gifted people out there that do a terrific job of a lot of specialty breads and enrobed different ideas and different innovative things that they come up with. And again, we partner right alongside our customers and talk to them about, hey, what are you looking for? And how could we help that? And maybe we can even, again, trial it at our bakery and do some different things with customers in a unique way. So it is absolutely a partnership. And I think for all of our, this industry, the milling and baking industry, as we see these shifts and changes happening with the consumer, you really need to work together and find ways, again, to partner and to come alongside and bring different capabilities and understanding and have those open discussions to try to discover, what's next. We talk a lot about at Ardent Mills, one of our little taglines is nourishing what's next. There's always going to be something next. And we want to really be leaders and help our customers find that and explore with them and discover new ideas, new alternatives, new ways of bringing these great products with some variation at times, or completely new products that can really complement the existing portfolio that someone may have.
So nourishing what's next, we have a little thing coming up next in September of 2022. It's a little trade show called IBIE, which I know that you guys exhibit at and attend. Are there any sorts of things that you might be able to shine some light on with what you guys are going to be doing there?
Well, yeah, we're excited about the trade shows returning, and IBIE was kind of in that great window, right? It happened right before the pandemic, and now kind of as we're cleaning up. So we hopefully will continue to clear up and be able to have more of these in-person ones. So it's really exciting to be in person, and we, in addition to kind of our classic, wheat flours and other resources that we always celebrate and highlight, we really we'll be focusing at IBIE on some of these new capabilities and different ingredients that would, expanded gluten-free varieties, expanded things around sustainability, how we can help our customers with those kinds of products. We always we pride ourselves at IBIE to make sure we have long lines for our samples and our food, and we usually we do pretty regularly. So we will have, I would promise you, an outstanding lineup of some really interesting applications with different ingredients that you might not expect, as well as some tried and true traditional great flour products. So we're excited about it. We have our chefs go to work on getting samples and getting things ready, and already focusing on that. So there'll be some things, and we usually shift it up. We'll have some things in the morning, maybe a breakfast pizza made with some ancient grains or something like that in the crust, or some things maybe on the sustainability side or food safety side, keto friendly, or different things that apply to that diet. We've had some different success with different products and mixes and blends, and so lots of different options. And definitely, I think you'll find some things with some chickpea flour in them and that type of thing. So it'll be a mix of all those things, and we're excited. We're getting ready and gearing up already, and counting down the days.
Your Bake to the Future team is also excited to do some taste testing. I'm certain that we will wander the floor with our microphones, and we will be the judges of how well these mixes turn out. I love how, you call them applications. They're really like, recipes, right?
Absolutely.
Trying these things. So I know, for one, I am excited for this show.
There you go.
You get in all your steps too. So it's not even like, you don't have to feel guilty about all these things that you're eating on the floor. So how many of these shows that you've been in the baking and milling industry for a while, a minute? Do you know how many IBIEs you've been to?
This I think will be my fourth. So I'm kind of a rookie by some standards. I mean, I know people that have been to them for decades and decades, but it's always a great time, again, bringing the industry together and seeing a lot of great people and a lot of great ideas.
Do you have any other ideas or thoughts that you want to make sure our listeners know about that you all have going on?
Well, I think one thing, we've talked a lot about products and innovation and a lot of different things relative to these great ingredients and great products that this industry produces. And that's such an important part of it. But I guess I would say one of the things that I think just, again, came out during the pandemic even more, but, just the importance of our people. And I think, the labor and the workforce topics have been big topics as well, right? And the fact is, we can't do any of this without great people. And the people that work in our mills and production facilities, at these specialty facilities and the bakeries of our customers, they're just doing such incredible work. And I think it's really important to just reinforce that and call that out. And one of the things we talk a lot about at Ardent Mills is we want to try, we aspire towards a people-first, values-based culture. And we really, care about our people, and we want to show that in every way that we can, and just recognize how important the people in this industry, again, working across these facilities and these plants, it's not easy work. And yet, when people really get into it, I think they have a real passion around the difference and the impact that they can make with these great products. And I tell our people all the time, we get to come to work every day to help to feed people. And that's a privilege and an honor and a responsibility. And I'm so proud of our people. They live, our values at Ardent Mills are trust, serving, simplicity, and safety. And they're all really built around caring for our people and creating an environment that really puts our people first. So I think as we look to the future and think about that, our people are at the heart of that. And to make these great products, to have this innovation, to run our mills and bakeries efficiently and all our plants and facilities and production, all that innovation, it takes great people to make that happen. So just, we need to celebrate our people all the time. And just, I remember at one point in the pandemic, we were talking about essential workers. And one of our plant employees, our team members at one of our plants, spoke to one of our leadership conferences a couple years ago, or a year ago, last year, and they said they were so proud because they had a letter that said they were an essential worker and they could carry that with them. So if they were pulled over in true lockdown, where you weren't even supposed to be on the road, they were going to work at the mill, and they had that letter that said, "I'm an essential worker and I need to get to work." And the pride and the ownership of our people, and I know it's similar at our customers and their bakeries, and we just saw that come through. And the strength of this industry is the strength of our people. And so, I think that's an important thing to remember, that we can't do any of this without great people doing their great work every single day. So just celebrate those heroes that work at our mills, our production facilities, our bakeries, and thank them for the great work that they do.
That is a great note to end on. With that, we will wrap up. Thank you so much, Dan, for joining us on the podcast today.
Hey, thanks, Haley and Katie. It's great to be with you. And thanks for the great work that you guys do, promoting our industry and sharing great information. And ABA has done a terrific job of keeping us all informed and providing great information and doing great podcasts like Bake to the Future. So thank you for the work that you do.
Thanks. We didn't tell him to say that, but we appreciate it. And I will let our listeners know that you can let us know what you thought of the show by emailing hello@americanbakers.org or leave us a voicemail at baketothefuture.org. And don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts: Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, or Ghana.